Good grief. Why do they never go in for me? Hello everybody, back again with another vinyl Wodge, the last one of 2019. Where did that year go? Joins all the rest of them. So let's get straight into this one. So as per usual at this time of year, I'm starting off with a record that my daughter got me for Christmas, as the same as last year. She couldn't think of anything else to get me. She was racking her brains trying to think of something else, and she just couldn't think of anything else. So she decided to get me a record. So went into the shop, chose 3 albums, and she chose the one that she wanted to buy me, with a little helpful hand from the record shop owner, who this time is Phoenix Records in Newton Abbot. So thank you so much for them helping my daughter choose my Christmas present. If you're ever in this area, then they're not a bad little record shop. Got some decent stuff in there. Right, so here we go. Yes, she got me this. So I was well chuffed when I opened this up on Christmas Day. I have loved this record. I think since it came out. So if you don't know, it's Licensed to Ill by the Beastie Boys. Absolutely brilliant stuff. One of those, I think this is an absolutely seminal record, to be honest. Along with maybe King of Rock by Run DMC as well. But this is where I first really took note of rap. Yeah, I'd like things like White Lines and The Message, bit of Grandmaster Flash, but I wasn't heavily into rap in the early 80s. Probably like most people in the UK, really. I hadn't really gone as big as it would get. But this was the start of a phenomenon. And this is a big record for me. I've had it on CD for absolutely years. Had it on a tape. Somebody taped it for me before that. It's an enormous record because this directly inspired a lot of the indie bands that sort of took up that kind of rap rock thing. I think it had an influence on a lot of metal bands. I think it just had a right influence across the board. Lovely recreation of the original release on Def Jam, with that Def Jam label. So this directly inspired one of my favourite records, which is Box Frenzy by Probably Itself. So many good songs on here. We've got a track listing. I can't. I'd have to get the record out again. I can't bother. Sounds great. Loving having it. And there's the Glory. Oh, let's get this open. Let's get the gatefold open the other way. And there's the glory of that album cover. So there we go. My Christmas present from my daughter this year. The Beastie Boys, Licensed to Ill. Loving it. Right. The only thing wrong with that is it hasn't got She's On It. But I've got that on my 7-inch, so that's all right. Right. So the rest of the records are things I found oh no, that cost a couple of quid. More or less all for £1 each, I think. Yeah, I think so. So, I was well chuffed I picked this one up for £1, because my copy of it was a bit battered and bruised. But I managed to pick up a copy of Almost Blue by Elvis Costello for £1. This is a great album. I really like this album. Now that I'm listening to it again, it seems to show the way where he would take on King of America, a lot of the tracks. I mean, you got Good Year for the Roses and stuff, but there's just some, it's kind of that, I wouldn't necessarily say it's more real country record. It's got that country feeling on it, but I think, yeah, it's kind of a precursor to King of America, if anything, I think. But then I may be wrong. But it's great having a better copy of it. And that custom label there. So I was dead chuffed to pick that up for £1. I mean, how often do you find Elvis Costello albums for £1? It's just ludicrous. Sometimes you just stumble into things, don't you? Same time I picked that up, I also picked up this. So this is Tina Turner, Rough. Now, long-time viewers will know I like a bit of Tina. I think she was great. There we go, trying to get the glare of the lamp off. So this was Tina's first album that she released after she finally got the divorce from Ike. It's not an amazing album, but it's quite nice to have. You've got a decent cover of the Bitches Back on it. She does some kind of disco. She doesn't really know what. I don't feel she really knows what she's doing. Like a lot of those artists, I think there's a lot of artists that reach a point in their lives where everything has changed for them, and you can kind of tell she's sort of floundering around where she's going to take this. I mean, to be honest, her career didn't really catch light again till she recorded Let's Stay Together with Heaven 17 on the British Electric Foundation album. Or was it with British Electric Foundation? I can't remember anyway. But when she did that, then her career absolutely caught fire. But this is a decent record, so I'm really glad I picked that one up. Now, I also managed to pick up some jazz records. I don't often pick them up. I've seen them recently, but they've been like £5 each for fairly ropey quality, fairly ropey looking records. But for some reason, where this charity shop had certain records for £5, they had some records for £1 each, and I managed to find a couple, in fact 3 albums, 2 of them from another shop. Were they from another shop? Oh, I can't remember where I get them anymore. Right, so anyway, I managed to pick up a really nice copy of Sweet Rain by Stan Getz. This is a lovely album, absolutely lovely. Recorded in, now, this will be funny if I can, don't know when it was recorded. No idea. But it's a really, really lovely sounding record. It is even though it's a reissue of it, it is my first Verve label record. I suppose I had to run into one sometime. I recorded in '67, so I think this is after he did that work with like Girl from Ipanema and all that stuff. I don't know history of jazz. I don't know like all the ins and outs of it. All I can say is if I like it, and I do like this. So this is by the Stan Getz Quartet. So it's got Stan Getz, Chick Corea, who seems to be on an awful lot of records that get shown on the VC. Ron Carter and Grady Tate. I don't know who these people are. I'm just showing my ignorance up. All I know is this is a great sounding record. Loving it. Now, I don't know what it is about being in the south. I don't know whether it's something to do with being in the southwest of England, but I watch vinyl community videos, people showing records, all kinds of stuff, and they keep showing Dave Brubeck. And I'm thinking, I've never seen a Dave Brubeck record in the wild. Now, there should be loads of them about, but not down here. Well, I finally found one. So I picked up a copy of Dave Brubeck's Greatest Hits. Now, it's not Take, is it Take 5? What? I can't even remember the name of the album. The one with that kind of modern art cover. I think it's Take 5. But this has got basically everything I need off a Dave Brubeck album. It's got Take 5, Unsquared Dances on it, Blue Rondo a la Turk. I'm not It's a Raggy Waltz, I think is a pretty famous one. I don't know much about jazz, but I do like those tunes, and the whole thing is a really good listen. So to pick this up for a couple of quid, finally, after seeing everybody else picking up Dave Brubeck records left, right, and centre, I'm dead chuffed about. So there we go. Oh, should I show the label? Didn't show the label. I can't remember what the label is. Oh, it's just an orange sunburst, CBS. You've all seen that a million times. Yeah, dead chuffed to pick that up. So the third jazz record I picked up is quite an interesting one. So it's this, which is, it's called Natural Balance, and it's by the String Trio of New York. Again, a lot of people, I have no idea whether they're famous, whether they're, I don't know. I have read this before. It kind of just all goes over my head, to be honest. But this is an interesting listen. It's much more of a free jazz record. There's all kinds of influences. There's bits of Japanese music. There's a track which is quite country inspired. There's all kinds of stuff going on. There's alternate tunings. They tap their instruments quite a lot. So as it can be, it is a string trio. So it's Billy Band playing violin, James Emery playing guitars, and John Limbo playing bass. And they use their instruments in various different ways, with various tunings, with various discordant noise on it, or discordant notes on it, things you wouldn't necessarily expect. So it's an interesting listen. It's not something I'd necessarily put on if I wanted to chill out, but there is some interesting stuff going on. So I will be listening to that again. Pretty good stuff, really. So there we go, String Trio of New York. Right, the last record. I had to buy this for a quid. This is a bonkers record, absolutely bonkers. I think I might have seen somebody show this before, but I'm not sure. So this is David Fanshawe, and this is a record called African Sanctus. Now, what this is, David Fanshawe travelled all over Africa during the early 70s. And you can see where he went. And he made field recordings of various African tribes and various indigenous peoples. And what he's done is, he's had the bonkers idea of teaming it up with basically basically a Latin Mass. So you've got things like you've got the Bwala dance of Uganda, then you've got Kyrie, and you've got recordings from Egyptian weddings, Islamic prayer schools, Sudanese courtship dances, all interspersed in this Latin Mass, including a version of the Lord's Prayer. This shouldn't work. It shouldn't work, but it's a really interesting listen. I doubt he really asked permission from these tribes to juxtapose this music with Western Christian music. But it's an interesting listen. I mean, you got all kinds of things going against it now. Like, when was this recorded? 74? This was released, I think. Like 35 years later, cultural appropriation, all kinds of stuff going on. But it's an interesting sounding record. He released a book. Apparently this has been performed like 2,000 times, and it still gets regularly performed across the world. So, interesting record. Right, so there we go. Final Wodge of 2019. Who knows what the new year will bring. It will bring further Wodges, because I've still got a backlog from at least, I don't know, I've still got shed load of records to show. So even if there is a drought, then there will be further volumes of this series. And I do have plans for the new year. I do want to try and record videos more regularly. I've got one idea in mind that will make me do that. So we'll see how that goes. Anyway, so thanks for watching. Hope you all had a lovely Christmas. Or holiday. I don't know. Whatever you're supposed to say anymore. Oh, hope you had a lovely Christmas. And have a fantastic new year. And I'll see you all in the new year. Cheers, everybody. Bye.